Radhe Radhe. You know what is strange? Most of my close calls in the gym didn't happen on the bad days. They happen on really good days. The days I felt strong, focused, almost unstoppable. And that's the part nobody talks about and I'm going to discuss today. High energy can actually be dangerous. Not because energy is bad, but because energy can trick you. I had a session where recently everything felt great, chest felt pumped, shoulder felt warm, I was full of energy. And at the end, I thought, let me just add a little bit more, just to get a pump. Just a few push-ups, just a small finisher, nothing crazy. But here's what I have learned. When you are already fatigued, even if you feel amazing, your stabilizers are slightly tired. Your scapular muscles on your back, your rotator cuff in your shoulder joint, your thoracic extensors, they just lose precision. And that tiny loss of precision under load, that's when joints shift slightly. That's when your humeral head, your arm sitting in your shoulder joint, moves slightly forward. And that's when you feel that small, the twinge in the anterior shoulder awareness. Not actually a pain, not an injury, just as if your joint is telling you, is whispering to you. And that whisper is where most lifters go wrong. So what's the science behind it? So what is energy? It's neurological, it's in your mind. Is your brain firing really well on that day? But the tissue resilience is structural, and that depends on your recovery, tendon load tolerance, your joint positioning, and your fatigue state. And those two things, energy and structural readiness, they are not the same. And when energy exceeds the structure, that's when irritation begins. Not because you're weak, but because you did one thing too many. There's another thing I will admit. Sometimes when my upper back feels tight, and you probably would have experienced the same, you allow someone to stand on your back, on your thoracic spine, it cracks, it decompresses, and it feels incredible. But that cracking, it is cavitation, gas release inside the joint capsule. The relief is neurological and does not have any structural correlation. Relief does not mean any repair. And if you rely on the external manipulation instead of building active stability, you actually create a cycle like load, then tension, manipulation, and you repeat. But what actually we want is load, stability, adaptation, and then build a resilience around it. And that's how I feel should be a long-term structure. The biggest shift for me, especially now I'm 50, and I've learned that it's this. So I try not to push through any bit of an awareness that comes through the joint, but I observe it. If something feels slightly irritated, I try not to panic, but I don't challenge it either. Try to adjust. I remove the fatigue pressing, that overload, the heavy load, and I come back in 2 to 3 days, time more stronger, and see how it goes. So this is not weakness, and this is probably creating more discipline. So energy is powerful, energy is beautiful, but energy is not permission to add volume. But it definitely is a permission to execute it better. So cleaner reps, better bracing, better scapular control, and better tempo. Not more weight, and definitely not more ego. So if you're serious about building your body for the long term, listen carefully. So most injuries don't happen because you were underprepared. They happen because you felt amazing. And added one extra thing. Longevity isn't built on hero sessions. It's built on uninterrupted years. And I think that is how you create real change. And that is how you build a physique without sacrificing your joints. So basically, you don't fight your structure, but you train with it. So next time you feel incredible in the gym, pause for a second and ask yourself, is my energy high, or are my tissues truly ready for it? Because that difference is everything. So if this resonated with you, share it with someone who trains hard but wants to train long. Strength is impressive, but sustainability, that's elite. See you next time soon with my next podcast. Radhe Radhe.